Hey friends, welcome back to the Teach What You Know 5-day video series. And today is day 3. It's a big topic all around how to find your soulmate clients. I know finding clients is one of the big questions for new business owners, and I'm really excited to be sharing how to really simplify this process and how to really use the resources and assets you have and be prepared to be attracting the right kind of clientele that you truly want to work with. So today we're going to be covering, first of all, how do we identify who is your ideal client to help? What do they truly want to learn, and what are they willing to invest in to learn, and how to build your credibility teaching what you know, even if you are a first-time business owner. So when I think about clients, I think I kind of, relate it to the dating analogy, right? Just like we don't date everyone on the planet, at least I hope you're not doing that. We don't work with everyone on the planet either, right? You're not here to help every single person. You're here to help a particular type of person in a particular stage of life, in a particular stage of a problem that also values things that you care about. And that's what makes you in sync and makes them a soulmate client. So a soulmate client really shares similar values, right? An outlook of life, and they have similar desires as you do. So very likely when you think about who is an ideal customer, you don't really have to look very far in terms of the characteristics and the qualities of this customer. They are likely you at some point of your life when, you're kind of going back in time, helping someone like you out. Just like Screw the Cubicle, really it's my mission to help Lydia from 8 years ago when she was quitting her job then, and also Lydia 5 years ago when she was reinventing work in her business in order not to have another burnout in as being a business owner, right? So all these different evolving parts of who I was are also people that are experiencing the same types of problems, struggles, and obstacles, and they too desire a particular result or goal to be met in a way that I would like to get to it as well, right? That's grounded in values that we care about. We don't want to get to results and, in doing things we don't like. There are particular values that inform us about what feels right for us, and my clients feel the same way about the things that I care about, right? So the first step is really, instead of guessing on what we think people want, which is the mistake I see people making a lot as new business owners, they kind of try to do a lot of that research and understanding in isolation because they don't want to tell others just yet that they don't know all the answers. And it's okay not to know all the answers as a business owner. In fact, it is our curiosity as a business owner is that weapon of choice that we want to use, right? Staying curious about what we don't know and being inventive and creative in how we get to those answers, right? So we need to really get into the hearts and the brains of these very people that we truly want to help so that when you put out an offer or when you put out content that attracts clients to your brand, they're going to read that thing and they're going to say, oh my God, it's like you're in my head. You're speaking my language. And that's what makes good marketing, and that's what's going to help you to really be visible effectively, right? And gain a really good community of people that follow your work and buy from you. So in today's Learning Lab, we're going to dig deeper into understanding your soulmate's customers' qualities so that you can attract more of them or start planting seeds to attract more of them. We're also going to talk about the best way to do market research properly so that you can discover what people want, what their pain points are, and what they're motivated to truly invest in. And then finally, we're going to talk about easeful ways to find clients, even if you don't have a big audience right now. All right, let's get into today's Learning Lab. As you dig into the characteristics and qualities your soulmate client may possess, I want you to dig a bit deeper today in getting into the hearts and brains of these very people. I want you to think about what they truly care about. Sometimes it's not the obvious thing of what you sell or what you do in the relation to the work that you charge for, but what else happens to their lives, to the way they see the world, how they behave and belong in the world when they're able to reach the goals that they can reach with your services. And what values really drive their decisions? Not all of us want to get to a particular goal in a certain way. So, for example, my clients who obviously have the goal of becoming their own boss, having their own small business, the values that might drive their decisions to work with a coach like me is probably because there's an alignment with the style of how I define a successful business, right? That it has to have meaningful work, that is all about easefulness and staying in the lane of your genius zone. And if someone cares about those elements of a meaningful business, then the choice to pick me as a coach might be very obvious to them when they see how that's in conjunction with their higher values. And then what are they saying and thinking and doing and wishing for when it comes to the problems they have, when it comes to the desires that they want, right? Really understanding the languaging of how your clients are talking about their problems, thinking through their problems and goals. What are they currently doing to help themselves that maybe isn't working? What have they tried in the past but may have landed flat because it isn't the right way for them to do certain things? And what are they wishing for that could change about their circumstance, about their issues? And when you can get into that detail, right, of not only how they feel, but the words and the language that they're using to describe their situation, it could make things like your marketing messages, how you sell, what's the angle, right, of that message you might use in different ways to promote your services. That will make it so much easier by using those very words and attracting the clients that really resonate deeply with that message. So here's an example of a few characteristics of my own clientele that I know when I see these characteristics and qualities in a person I talk to, whether they belong in my business or not, right? And so my soulmate clients, for example, really value freedom. And defining what freedom really means is important as well, right? For my clients, it's the freedom to express themselves, freedom to work from anywhere, right? The freedom to do creative work, right? And not be tied down to just what's offered in the marketplace, but how do they creatively choose the different ways that they might do that work that's going to be in alignment with their personality types and in their creative zone of genius, right? They also value meaningful work. If a client comes to me and says, I don't care what I work on, I just want to make a bunch of money, I will send them somewhere else. They're not my soulmate client, right? So that topic of meaningful work, right? That message around meaningful work is very much part and parcel of my message that I talk about a lot at Screw the Cubicle. They also really believe in impact, right? They want to create a difference in the world. They know that before they die, they want to leave a legacy. And so these are very different types of business owners that might take the time to understand what that purpose is in order to infuse more of it into their business. They're also very values driven. They're not people that will just do things because someone told them to do it. They're always taking that pause, or they want to desire to take that pause to ensure that the actions match up with their values. So they don't want to go somewhere fast and end up going somewhere they don't want to go. They want to go somewhere that feels aligned, right, with their true beliefs and the values that drive their decisions. And of course, alignment, right? Alignment in not just values, but alignment in their strengths, right? So they want to build a business and market their business in alignment with their genius zone, right? Alignment with things that are their natural tendencies. They're not going to be an extrovert when they're really an introvert, and they're going to choose aligning activities that best suit, right, their superpowers and their values. And they're anti-hustle. They're not about busy work. They're about doing less but better, right? And so those kinds of clients will really fit in with my content and what I teach, because they don't want to work like crazy people either. They want to maintain a sense of balance, and freedom to them is about freedom of time, right? And flexibility. So how I'm going to teach building a business is going to always revolve around this value of anti-hustle, right? How do we create more easefulness, spaciousness, joyfulness in the way that we're operating in our business? My soulmate clients are also people that are really obsessed with self-development. They're probably listening to podcasts I'm listening to. They're following particular authors, influencers, right? Brand personas that are talking about developing and growing as a human, right? So when I talk about how a business is an expression of yourself, or when I talk about the first year of business being like 10 years of therapy, they get what I'm saying, because part of what they're willing to do as well is use business as a vehicle for change, right? That they know that business allows them to discover more about themselves more than ever, and more than what they can discover in a 9 to 5 job. And purpose, of course, is a huge part of values for my clients, part of the qualities they come with, right? They want to feel on purpose. They don't do things just for the sake of doing it. They want to feel like there's meaning behind the things they do, and that they're really creating not just purpose for themselves, but purpose in other people's lives. And that's what helps me to attract when I talk about these qualities and what matters in business with these qualities. It's going to attract great people, because they will raise their hands, right? They will say, "Oh my God, it's like you're talking to me," because these are the things of what encompasses who I am. Right. And when you know these ingredients, when you know these characteristics and qualities, you can easily spot your client when they come to you, and also easily know they're not for you when you don't see these qualities. So, how do we know what people want and what they'll buy, and also kind of really see what qualities of clients we're looking for? Well, we have to do our due diligence of doing market research before we start to design any offers or launch a business. And this is a step that so many people skip, because they don't really teach this very well. We teach them in startups, right? We teach it in the lean mentality of startups, but in small business, there's sort of this, especially in the coaching industry, right? A lot of times what I've been finding is people that are launching a coaching business, for example, is trusting just what they think should be created, and it's a one-sided opinion. And I'm not saying that your assumptions may not be right as the expert in your field, but it's great to validate it, right, with the very humans that you're looking to help. And market research can be such a fun thing to do, not only to find the right thing to create for people and any gaps in the marketplace that you want to be accountable for, but it just gets you closer to the very people you want to help. So if you haven't been doing any conversations, any research on understanding who it is that you're helping, and you're feeling a little stuck or a bit fuzzy about what to offer and what services to design for them, this could be one of the missing activities for you. And this part of market research is such a big part of the foundational work we all have to do to ensure what we are creating is validated, that I teach a whole phase around this in my 90-Day Launch Academy program, because it makes such a huge difference for building and knowing that confidence that you can feel when you've actually done this real deep work with other humans. So you can do some research where you can look at your competitors, right? Your competitors might tell you what is selling in the marketplace, and it can give you clues about what they're doing differently and how you might solve the problem differently, right? What are skills, modalities, tools that you might come with that your competitors don't, and how you might approach, right, solving problems differently than them. It's not to copy them, but actually really see your differentiating factor in how you might do things differently than other people who do what you do. Sleuthing conversations online is also one of my favorite things to do. So I'll do things like read particular Amazon reviews, right, on books that are aligned with my industry, and start to see what people love about that book, right, that I know would be a great topic for me to speak about, but also questions that people have that maybe the book didn't cover, right? Or what's next after this book? So that gives me some insight, some clues as to what else people are actively seeking for that I could potentially provide solutions for. Doing surveys are great as well. If you want to get a pattern, look at a pattern of what are some FAQs, what are big struggles, number one pain points that are from your marketplace. Creating a survey on Typeform or SurveyMonkey is a really great way to get a bird's eye view of, 20, 30, 50 people at once, and really see the patterns of what those pain points might be that you need to be responsible for, or where you might want to be responsible for as a choice, right? In solutions that you want to offer. But really, nothing beats real conversations. This is my number one best way to do market research, is to conduct one-to-one interviews. And when I have taught my students to do effective one-to-one interview market research conversations, they discover so much insight because of the nuance that you can identify in people's problems simply from having a conversation with them. You know, when people do a survey, they give you one-worded answers, multiple choice, but when you speak to your customer and really dig in to why they behave a certain way, why they want the things they want, why hasn't it worked for them recently, you know, you really discover the true reasons behind their struggles. Facebook groups are another great way to do real conversations. If you belong to some of them already, start talking to people about their struggles, start giving information and asking for feedback, right? There's still real people behind, right, the posts. So you could invite them on a one-to-one interview, or simply pose something that a few people can answer and reply to them and ask them deeper questions. You could also do what I call an exchange of a free consultation, right? Or I like to call it the 30 for 30 exchange, 30 minutes of me picking your brain about your problem, and then you get 30 minutes of my time to support you and coach you on something else, right? That you might need some help with right now. And so having an exchange can be a great approach for people to practice some of their skill sets with a real human. And it also allows sort of a giveaway, right? So you feel like you're not just taking information from others, but you're also giving back as a professional. So however you might want to make this market research, really think about how can you really dig in for more information? What's going to be a platform, an approach that is your personality type, right? And is also going to allow you to find the best information possible, and not, not just rely on your guessing, right, of what you think people want. And when you can make these conversations happen online or offline, you're going to be so much more equipped in understanding what people are willing to invest in, what are urgent problems to be solved, right? And how you might be able to solve these problems differently, right? So the insights you really gather are what problems are really hindering their success. It's not always the obvious choice, right? Or the obvious thing, sorry. People say all sorts of things about what they think is their obstacles. But as you dig a little further, as you keep asking why several times, figure out what they're doing, what they're thinking about, what they're trying, what isn't working for them in the solutions that are currently available in the marketplace, you really start to see what's the true root of the problem. And then you can start to see the gaps in the marketplace, right? So for example, in my business, there's tons of business coaches. There's tons of people that help with, corporate transition. But one of the gaps I saw is that there was a missing link where people kept asking me, well, I love the business coaching stuff, but I feel like I'm not there yet because I don't even know what kind of business I should start based on the skills I have. And so I started to see that not a lot of business coaches answer this call. Right in this stage, right before the idea generation, is that people don't even really know how they're designed to do a particular kind of work because they're going to go straight into the business plan right away. They're not ready for that. So I saw the gap in the marketplace of answering the call to this micro stage before people have ideation, right, of a business idea, and actually get them to really dig into the inventory of their skills, right, their experiences, and really understand their body of work first before they start to build a business, right? And that's how I stand out in the marketplace, even if there's other people that do what I do. And so thinking about how you would solve these problems differently might prompt you to think about modalities, tools, skill sets and combinations, if used together, could powerfully create better results for your clients, right? And so one of the things to think about is, how can I amplify my skills instead of being just a one-trick pony of one skill set that I think I should lean into? How does different skill sets, if combined together, make me a much more powerful solution for other people? Right? So that's going to help you to give more value, contribute more to your clients, and hence you can charge even higher premium prices because people get such an amazing experience in working with you. All right, let's talk about finding clients. So after you understand your clients, you have market research, you might be thinking about an offer you might design, right? where are you going to find clients? That's the next question that I know a lot of people have, right? And so my rule of thumb, and most of my clients do find clients this way because it's simple, it's not hard, and it doesn't require you to go into stranger danger mode, right? But it's something that is ignored, which is our low hanging fruit and the social equity that we've built, right? Low hanging fruit is your current ecosystem, which is your network, associations. It could be if you have a certification in something and you have an association with members of that credential. It could be your place of worship. It could be Facebook groups that you belong in. It could be old colleagues and current colleagues. It could be friends that you have at the moment. All these people you've built equity with. And why not start there? Why not start with tapping into what my coach Pam Slim calls your watering holes, right? You already have watering holes to tap into. We just have to let people know what is the work we're doing now and who we're inviting to this work for them to refer others, for them to perhaps raise their hand that they might be the one that needs your help. The first 5 clients that I got from my coaching business many years ago were people from my pool of my network. Colleagues I haven't seen for 10 years, right? That knew me on Facebook and all of a sudden started seeing me do different work, right? And as you tap into your low-hanging fruit, you're also practicing talking about your work into a more familiar place, a little bit more of your comfort zone. It doesn't mean you might not expand that network, but use what you've got. And so many people ignore that because they don't want to tell people that's close to them that they're doing something new until they get it perfect. And that is such a mistake, in my opinion, because I think people who care about you root for your success, and they want to know when you've discovered something passionate that you are really focused on right now, right? And practicing sharing that work is going to be great for you to do with your low-hanging fruit so that when you go into the bigger global market, you're really familiar with the languaging and the messaging that is powerful for you to be using. And in conjunction with that, you could still be expanding your network, right? And that's going to be a longer term game because it's going to be people who don't know you just yet, right? But you can certainly be expanding your network by planting educational seeds and content, right? This is where you built your reputation of being an unknown person to giving generous value and high quality value in order to help people be nurtured into the work that you do, right? We don't have to convince people into our offers if we can plant tinier seeds for them to learn with us in their journey. And maybe it's not the first time they say yes to your offer, it might be like the 5th time or even the 10th time, but when they're ready, you're going to be top of mind. Right? So building a reputation by planting seeds is, things like taster giveaways, right? The fact that you're coming onto a 5-day series I'm hosting right now, this is part of my planting seeds activity, right? In marketing, that's giving you a taster of my approach, of my outlook, of, my brand promise, what's to expect if you worked with me, where you could go if you could get some of this good insight from the get-go for free. And then if you want to, right, do more with me, there are other options. But we want to show and tell, right? Show and tell our expertise, not by telling people we're amazing, but by showing people that we have a solution they might need. Right? It could be webinars, it could be challenges, it could be YouTube videos that you film. My YouTube channel is one of the number one things that brings new clients to my doorstep. Could be social media. If you're a social media person, you don't have to do social media if you don't need to. I'm not on social media that much. I rely a lot more on intimacy marketing, with my email list and newsletters and doing live kind of interactions like this, right? These are my genius zone. So I pick planting seed activities like this. Right? Blogs and podcasts can also be, ways that you're planting seeds for people to be nurtured into your work. And the big message here is to focus on your strengths. You don't want to be doing a bunch of different things to find clients. You want to be focusing on your genius zone. What are your most natural ways to connect and build relationships? How do you do that in real life right now? Right? So how you attract your clients should be aligned with your strengths. So I have clients who are consultants that don't even have websites that make 6 figures a year with their business because they focus on intimacy connections. They focus on calls. They focus on taking people out for coffee or Zoom calls these days, right? They focus on referrals and repeat clients because their kind of work as consultants don't require a lot of clients. They require high quality, repeatable clients to be able to have predictable income, right? So depending on your model of work, you might really want to choose, instead of going large and wide and get a bunch of people into the doorstep, is actually being more focused on, a specific kind of clientele, right? And a way of reaching them and building intimacy with them that's actually going to land the sale, rather than, spraying content all over the place, right? And hoping someone says yes to you, right? Being more specific about your marketing and choosing one or two activities that just allows you to stay in your lane and be in things that you like doing, things that you have fun doing, right? Those are the things that are really going to help you to make marketing feel easy. So even things like social media, I don't play the game of posting on other people's posts or doing like 3 posts a day. That sounds like complete stress things for me. I will send voicemails. I'll send voicemails on LinkedIn. I'll send voicemails on Instagram. And that's my jam, is intimacy. So as long as I can talk to someone through a real voice, I'm making more of a dent in them getting to know me and for them actually expanding that conversation, right? Choose activities that amplifies the work you're paid to do. So, for example, the reason why I don't just go on social media and learn social media like an expert is because I'm not a social media marketer. That's not who I am by trade, right? I'm a coach. And so activities that I'm going to choose in marketing is going to allow me to be a coach. So as I run and host this 5-day series with you, I'm thinking with the hat of a coach. How do I coach people in doing things bite-sized? How do I coach people in the insights and bite-sized information to just start, planting those seeds and allowing them to step out of their own way and simplify this process of teaching what you know, right? So webinars are great for me. 5-day challenges like this are great for me, right? It allows me to stay in my genius zone of being a coach. So if you're a writer, for example, that is offering writing services, you might write more as your marketing activity, right? You might even do more case study reviews of other people's writing to show and tell what you do instead of doing a bunch of social media posts, right? So getting really focused and creative and staying where the skill set is at, right? With what you're paid to do, and using the same skill set in marketing is going to help you to find clients more easily. So today, I want to end today's video lesson with a couple of prompts. As you think about your soulmate clients, I want you to just write down who really represents the qualities of an ideal client that's best suited for your work, right? Just as I said, we don't date everyone on the planet. We certainly don't work with everyone on the planet either. I want you to really think about what are the characteristics and qualities, and you might go back to, this slide here of what I gave as an example, right, of these values and qualities that represent my client in order to kind of build your own, right, on a document or on a sticky note on the wall. You can also choose a real person. That can be quite easier than a general public, right? To imagine a client. If you've been having an experience with someone, or someone's come into your realm before that represents this client, or you can think about this person that exists in your world at the moment and they truly represent that character, then start thinking about them as you list those qualities and characteristics. And then I want you to think about what are the jobs to be done, because the work that we do in our services is about solving a problem. That's how we can garner an exchange of money, right? For our services, is because we can solve problems. So what are these problems that are hindering the success of your ideal customer? And how would you solve these problems? What are the jobs to be done? What are the micro steps to be done, in your journey with helping this client? And lastly, how do you want to create authentic invitations? How do you want to invite people to your work? What are your strengths? How do you want to connect and build? How do you build and connect with relationships in real life? So matching that regular way, natural tendency of how you built relationships could give you a clue as to how you want to do it in your business as well, right? And authentic is the key word here. What makes you feel non-icky? What makes you feel like you're having fun? What makes you feel like you are in line with your strengths? And that's going to allow you to pick a vehicle of marketing, right? That's going to allow you to do just that, and you're not going to feel like it's pulling teeth to show up and be visible in that vehicle of marketing, right? So as you think about this today, that's going to prepare us for tomorrow, day 4's content on how to stand out in your niche. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to, now that you know your soulmate clients, how do you build a journey and an experience and a system for them to be buying more easily. So instead of selling your services hour by hour, we're going to be able to package your expertise into a sellable format and a much simpler way for you to sell what you do, offer premium services, and get you paid for the wonderful work that you do. See you tomorrow.